Good morning, everybody. Doug here from Performance Unlimited. You know, I was building them Pontiacs last week, and I'd like to talk about them a little bit. You know, I get a lot of people questioning things, and I try to be answering them and help them if I can. Number one, I do run a one-piece seal on all my Pontiacs. You can buy them from the company Bob. You have to split them where there's a dot. You cut them with a razor blade. And then I like to do is this. First, I'll lube the crank real good. And then I got all my bearings laid in. First of all, you have to do some work to the mains on some of them motors, you know, to seal them so the seal doesn't leak oil past them. But that's for you to figure out. So what I do is I split it, I put it in, and I always put the cut mark down, which will be up when the block is over and right. So that's how I do the one-piece seal, and you can buy them from Bob. Number one, again, is guys say, oh, you can make more power. Here's the story. 455 main is 3-inch 250. And a 400 Pontiac is 3-inch. I like building the smaller mains, but when guys want a 455, I say, hey, I'll build it. I still want to give you good oil pressure, but I'm not going to build it, you know, for high revving. I try to build them when they'll go, you know, 5,500, whatever. I put a smaller cam in them, and they make great power and torque. And that's what they're looking for a street light motor. You know, you're driving around with a 69 GTO. You want it to have nice power. Remember, it only came with about 350 or 370 horsepower in the day. So if you give them 460, that's 100 horsepower more. That's a pretty good improvement. And big torque right off idle. So again, it's enough with the 455. I like building the 400s. And again, I always told you a story. I took the 455 crank, had it machined where I cut all the mains down. We had to weld the truss. We had to cut the rear seal area down, and I got it to fit in the 400, and I created a 461 stroker 25 years ago. You couldn't buy the kits, no one made them. After I did a few for some gentlemen, Ohio Crank made that crankshaft. But when I was doing it, I was still using a 455 rod, and I was using a 455 piston, because the bore on a 400 is 4120, and the bore on a 455 is 4150 or 4155. There's always a 5,000 difference. You always might get figured out where you're at. But I did that, and that thing was in tremendous crate. They still don't sound as good as they did when I was making that one. Because today you use a big block rod, and that be horse shit or whatever, and they change things. But that's how you make them. It's a lot simpler. Back to the Pontiac block. There's a 400 block. My friend calls me on Saturday and says, Doug, you're telling me that number one is on the driver's side. It's not. I said, yes, it is, Jim. He goes, no, it's forward cylinder on a Pontiac is on the passenger side. I said, that's correct, but it's still number one. First of all, the distributor spins counter on a Pontiac, and on the Chevy, it spins clockwise. So that makes a big difference for when it comes to the timing. So I laid some blocks out, and I want to show everybody. Okay, here we go, Stevie. Come on in. This happens to be a 360 Chrysler block. And I'm going to make a stroker out of this too. Even to make the tie bar lifters, I got to grind all in here to get the tie bar lifters to fit in. We do whatever it takes to make them work, and I've figured that all out. Notice the front cylinders forward. That's number one on this Chrysler, and it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's your Chrysler 360. We'll go to a 350 Chevy motor. Forward cylinder, when you look, it's more forward. Number one. 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's a Chevy. Here's the Ford. Ford goes the opposite. Forward cylinder is on this side, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how Ford works. Now, the Pontiacs. All Pontiac blocks. Forward cylinder is passenger side. But, what number cylinder? 2, 4, 6, 8. This cylinder sits back. That means my second connecting rod is still number one when it goes forward, and it's 1, 3, 5, 7. And that's what I'll bet dollar for anybody. So that's how it works. Hopefully it was helpful to you. But I'll tell you what, I could duke the motor together, put a distributor in. Since it rotates counterclockwise, as I get number one up, rotate, the next cylinder will be 8, and then so on and so forth. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. Chevy's the same way, but it rotates clockwise, and it would happen to be the same thing. But this time, it would do it the same way, okay? So, with those cylinders being I hope I cleared up some stuff. People ask me a lot of different things, and I try to help them out. Again, thrust. What do I do to get thrust on a motor? Every motor. I lay out my brand new crank. I open my ring box, I take the thrust bearings out, I put them on the crank, and I take a feeler gauge and see what goes in them. Today, you don't get too much, okay? And I like to put, I'm gonna tell you something, I like between 8 and 9 thousandths, even 10. All right, some motors I even run bigger, depending on the horsepower. Again, it ain't gonna hurt it, but we're not talking a quarter inch, we're talking thousands. So what I do, I got a belt sander in the back, worn out belt. And here's again, this is not for beginners, because if you were to take it and angle that bearing, you're gonna grind it crooked. Doing this a long time, I've been doing it for many, many years. I take that bearing and I touch it, and I turn it over and I touch it again, I do both. Bring it back, I get what I want, put it in the motor, happy-go-lucky. When I put it in and slam it back and forth with no oil on the sides, I get exactly what I want for thrust. Hope that, again, helps people out. I'm here to help, but don't treat me like a fool. Hey, everybody have a great day. Peace.